Hi all, I have a more positional game to show you today of the super prodigy Praggnanandhaa. This was in the Gredine Open round 6. So his opponent was also a very young opponent, a kind of child prodigy in his own right, Gholami. A little bit of background, he's just 16 years old, his opponent playing black in this game, so Gholami. And an international master from Iran, so a very young international master. So Praggnanandhaa's only 12 years old, so super child prodigy. Let's see this game, so clash of the juniors. So it started with knight f3, the Reti opening. We have knight f6 from Gholami, c4 from Praggnanandhaa, b6, g3, bishop b7, bishop g2, g6, so a double fianchetto from black, quite novel. d4, bishop g7, both sides castle, and then we have the move d5. This is quite a popular try. There's also knight c3, and black often plays knight e4 to try and clamp down on that e4 square and ready to trade off the bishops here. This position is thought to be about even. Okay, so in this game, yeah, this early d5, does it have any downsides here? Knight e4 was played. Knight fd2, more usual it seems. This has been played before, queen c2 and f5. That's, I believe, considered the main line, in inverted commas. So this is a slightly unusual knight fd2. We have knight c5. Black could have just taken on d2, of course, and maybe try and tap into the c5 square like with knight a6. That's interesting. So black anyway played knight c5, and we have knight b3 challenging that knight again. a5, knight c3, d6. There is one issue with black's position. This bishop at the moment doesn't seem that great. Of course, it can retreat to c8 later potentially. Knight d4, which creates a kind of clamp on light squares. Queen d7, e4, e5. This lets the knight go to b5, and it's difficult to unperch this knight. There's no a6 or c6, so it's nicely perched on b5. Knight b a6, a3, f5, and it's as though this could be a kind of King's Indian style attack. But this is curious now. White played a curious move, f3. Maybe he wants to keep the bishop like hemmed in, perhaps. There are other ideas in this position. It would seem a bit unwise to take here, but you can see that this position, for example, the bishop on c8 wouldn't be that active on this diagonal. Maybe there's a blockade on e3. It might not be that bad for white either. But this move, f3, it does strike me personally that f4 and checking, you know, technically f4 is like a King's Indian style position, where maybe if we take this further, the bishop could have retreated to c8, and black could play it like basically a King's Indian. If white plays b4, then knight b7. This doesn't seem that bad for black. There's a space, you know, advantage for black potentially on the king side, and maybe even crude stuff coming up later. But the way black played it was actually f takes e4. To me, this seems to give up a bit of tension in the position actually. After f takes e4, this bishop remains hemmed in, for example. Rook takes f1, king takes f1, c6, and now there's a potentially weak d6 pawn. The king goes back to g1, knight c7, bishop e3, knight comes to e6, this c7 knight comes to e6. It seems here that there's bishop h3 with a nasty pin. This is interesting to consider, even if it loses a pawn. I'll just show you. Knight takes, as an example, queen takes d6, and white should end up being better here. This is nasty. So the bishop and knight attacks. Black has to give up a pawn there. White's going to be a bit better, but it might be difficult to win. So the tension is really kept in the game. This is actually might be tempting, but it wasn't played. The tension's kept more. b4 driving the pieces back is the preference. Now here, again, bishop h3 is very tempting, but white was he also plays a very strong move anyway, because b6 looks like a miserable pawn in this position. The threat of knight takes b6, forking queen and rook. So here we have knight a c7, knight b takes c7, and white ends up basically winning a pawn here. Bishop takes b6, and black is still without any counterplay, so he's just lost an important pawn. This keeps the pawns together and kind of as if they're going to be a mobile mass, really dangerous like this, and extends the scope of the bishop as well. Queen a, so bishop a4, b5, now hitting the bishop again. Bishop moves, but now the queen infiltrates. Bishop f8, nasty pin. Bishop e3 with ideas like bishop h6. Queen g4, trying to get maybe a perpetual check, but the king just goes to h2 now after h3. Check, king h2. So with things like bishop h6 now, unpinning with king f7, but check. Queen c8, nasty ideas, hitting the bishop and looking at e6. Here, after king g7, nice tactical move here. I wonder if you can guess it if I give you 5 seconds to pause the video. White play. So the hardest part of winning a one position, of winning game, is winning a one position. Someone said something like that anyway. So, but here there's a nice tactical move which finishes the game. Bishop h6 check. Yes. Pretty forcing and crushing. The game ended here. As an example, if king takes, queen takes f8 check. King g5 as an example, trying to stay off this diagonal because of that bishop f3, but white can play h4 check here, and it doesn't matter now. Either king g4 or king h5, there's bishop f3 check, or on king g4, bishop h3 is check, and close to mate, I think. Hang on. King h5, check. Queen h6 seems to do it here. Okay. So anyway, yeah, bishop h6 check. Yeah, seems absolutely winning, driving that king down the board. So a really nice positional and tactical game there from Praggnanandhaa, showing, yeah, his mature playing style. Using a space advantage there, winning a pawn. Black really didn't get much counterplay in this game, so a very controlled game, and showing another hat that he's got, not just a mad tactical hat that I might have shown yesterday, but yeah, he combines, you know, tactics and positional play very, very well. So congratulations to him again on becoming the second youngest grandmaster in chess history. Comments, questions, likes, shares appreciated. Thanks so much.